The tray is heavier tonight, the way the air in the alley behind the restaurant hangs wet and hot, like breath on the back of my neck. I balance the load, 4 plates of ossobuco, 2 orders of linguine, a carafe of house red, while the steel door groans shut behind me. I'm supposed to loop around to the front, but the alley is faster and my feet are already blistered from a double shift. The city hums, distant sirens weaving through the thud of bass from the nightclub next door. I take 3 steps into the dark and that's when I hear the gunshot. If slow burn romance with high stakes is your thing, hit subscribe. Now back to the story. It cracks sharp and small like a branch snapping under ice. The tray jerks, porcelain clatters. A man staggers into view from behind the dumpster, clutching his stomach, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Blood seeps between his fingers, black in the sodium light. He drops to his knees, eyes rolling back, and I smell cordite and hot copper. My knees lock, the tray tilts again, a plate slides, smashes, splattering sauce across my sneakers. Footsteps approach unhurried, 2 sets. I should run, but my legs feel bolted to the cracked asphalt. They step into the light, both in dark suits, one taller, broader, the kind of shoulders that own every room they enter. He's the first thing I really see, midnight suit, white shirt unbuttoned at the throat, face carved from something harder than granite. His hair is slicked back, damp at the edges like he's just stepped out of a storm. Eyes the color of cold coffee flick to me, then to the dying man, then back. The gun in his hand hangs loose, smoke still curling from the barrel. He doesn't raise it, he doesn't need to. The message is already in the set of his mouth, witness, liability, loose end. My lungs forget how to pull air. The world narrows to the thump of my heart and the warm spread of terror up my spine. The second man murmurs, "Boss," camera on the lamppost. The boss, because of course that's what he is, tilts his head considering. Then, almost bored, he lifts his free hand and crooks a finger at me. Come, my feet obey before my brain catches up. Traitorous things. 3 steps, 4. The tray slips, crashes, food skidding everywhere. I flinch sideways, ankle twisting, and the ground rushes up to meet me. I don't hit it. An arm like iron catches me around the waist, hauls me upright, pulls me against a wall of wool and heat. I feel the gun, cold through the jacket, against my ribs. He smells of gunpowder and something darker like burnt coffee and cedar. My vision tunnels, sparkles at the edges. I try to speak, nothing comes. He lowers his head, lips brushing the shell of my ear, and growls, "I'll make them pay. Them, not me, like I already belong to him, like the debt is someone else's to settle." The words rumble through bone more than air. My knees give another warning wobble. He shifts the gun to his other hand, scoops my legs out from under me, cradles me against his chest like I weigh nothing. My last coherent thought before the dark swallows me is that I've left greasy fingerprints on a killer's suit. I wake to silence so complete it feels like pressure on my eardrums. For a moment I think I'm deaf, but then I hear my own pulse, thick and steady. I'm lying on something soft yet firm, a couch longer than my apartment is wide. Above me a ceiling glitters, tiny recessed lights like scattered stars. I push up, palms sliding over cool leather. The room is huge, all shadows and edges, floor-to-ceiling windows, city lights far below, a marble fireplace big enough to roast a goat. Air smells faintly of lemon polish and old paper. My shoes are gone, someone's cleaned the sauce off my ankles. Panic flares, but my clothes are intact, apron missing. Footsteps approach, unhurried. I scramble to sit, dizziness tilting the room. He steps through an archway, jacket gone, shirt sleeves rolled to the elbow, revealing a tattoo on the inside of his left forearm, St. George spearing a dragon, ink faded to green. He's carrying a glass of water, no gun in sight, but the absence feels temporary. Up close, his face is less pretty, more brutal, broken nose, scar through the left brow, jawline you could cut steak on. He stops just outside arm's reach, offers the glass. Drink. I take it because my throat feels lined with sandpaper. The water is ice cold, delicious. When I lower the glass, he's studying me like I'm a ledger that doesn't balance. Name, he says, Elena Rossi. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. Age. 24. He nods, satisfied, as if ticking boxes. You're in my home, no one will touch you here. A pause, heavy. You saw something you shouldn't have. I didn't see anything, I lie. His mouth twitches, almost a smile. You fainted before you could decide what you saw. That's convenient. He steps closer, takes the glass from my hand, sets it on a side table. Convenient for both of us. I find my spine, push off the couch. The rug beneath my bare feet is thick, Persian maybe, reds and blacks. I have to get back, my shift is covered. He says it like the restaurant is a toy he's already broken. Sit, Elena. I stay standing. You killed that man. He was already dead, he answers, matter of fact. I just made it official. He'd been skimming from a family operation. Word gets around, examples must be set. His eyes narrow. You're not screaming. I want to, but the sound is stuck somewhere behind my sternum. Instead I whisper, are you going to kill me? He considers, head tilting. If I were, you'd already be dead, a long beat. But you're a loose end and I hate loose ends, so you'll stay here until I decide what to do with you. That's kidnapping. That's survival. He turns, walks toward a doorway. Kitchen's through there if you're hungry. Library's past the stairs, don't try the front door, it's wired. Then he's gone, footsteps fading into hush. I stand there, heart-punching ribs, city lights blinking like they know something I don't. My phone is gone from my pocket. The room offers no comfort, only scale, leather, marble, books that smell like centuries. I pad toward the windows, press palms to the glass. We're high, maybe 30 floors. Below, Brooklyn spreads like circuitry. I'm an ant on a skyscraper, and the man who owns the skyscraper just walked away. The first day is a lesson in silence. No television, no radio, just the occasional clink of dishes somewhere deeper in the penthouse. I explore because I can't not. The kitchen is bigger than the restaurant I work at, sub-zero fridge, arranged with more burners than I can count, copper pans hanging like artillery. I find leftover risotto in a glass bowl, eat it cold, standing. The library smells of cedar and dust, shelves climbing 2 stories, a rolling ladder to reach them. I trail fingers along spines, Dante, Plutarch, a whole row of battered paperbacks in Italian. I pull one down, pretend to read, but the words swim. He appears at dusk, jacket back on, tie tight. Come, he says, and I follow because the alternative is staying alone in this museum. He leads me to a dining room where a single place is set, white china, heavy silver, candle already lit. He pours red wine into a crystal glass, sets the bottle beside my plate, sits opposite, elbows on mahogany, watching. The meal is osso buco, better than the restaurant's, marrow glistening. I eat because my body demands fuel. He doesn't touch the food, just sips wine, eyes never leaving me. Conversation is minimal. Why me? I ask finally. You were there, he says, as if that explains everything. When I finish, he stands, collects the plate himself. You'll sleep in the guest room upstairs. Lock if it comforts you. It won't keep me out, but it'll make you feel better. I lock it anyway, crawl between sheets that smell of lavender and something metallic like ozone. I dream of blood and wake before sunrise, heart racing. Day 2, he's gone. A guard mid-30s, square head, kind eyes, stands outside the kitchen, introduces himself as Rocco. Mr. Morty had business, he explains, apologetic. I'm to keep you company and keep you safe. Safe from what, he doesn't specify. I make coffee strong enough to peel paint, sit on a stool, watch Rocco polish already clean glasses. Conversation is stilted but human. He tells me Vinny, he calls him, that has owned the building 5 years, keeps the penthouse private, rarely brings anyone home. You're special, he says, and I can't tell if it's a promise or a warning. At noon a tailor arrives, Italian, tape measure around his neck. He takes my sizes, notes them in a little book, leaves without a word. By evening there are clothes in my room, jeans that fit like they were sewn on, cashmere sweaters in colors of dusk, underwear so delicate it feels like water. I stare at them unsettled. He's dressing a doll he hasn't decided to keep. Day 3, I wander into the library and find him behind the desk, sleeves rolled, cleaning a pistol. Old gleams on metal, the smell is sharp, chemical. He doesn't look up. I hover in the doorway, throat tight. Sit, he says. I do, on the leather wingback opposite. The gun clicks as he reassembles it, hands moving with surgical calm. His fingers are long, knuckles scarred. I should be horrified. Instead, I'm mesmerized by the economy of motion, the certainty. When he's done, he sets the weapon on a cloth, lifts his gaze. You're not shaking. Should I be? He leans back, studies me. Most people find this disturbing. I've seen worse. I surprise myself saying it, but it's true. Dad's fists, mom's black eyes, eviction notices taped to doors. Violence isn't new, it's just usually cheaper. Something shifts in his expression, a door cracking open. Tell me. I shrug, nothing worth repeating. He nods, accepts the boundary. Ever shoot a gun? No. Want to learn. I consider, the idea should terrify me, but instead it feels like grabbing a live wire, dangerous, electric. Yes. The range is in the basement, a long concrete room lit by fluorescence. He hands me earmuffs, selects a small revolver, shows me how to load. His chest brushes my back when he adjusts my stance, thighs solid behind mine. The sensation is warmth, not fear. He smells of gun oil and coffee. Squeeze, don't pull, he murmurs, voice low. I fire, the recoil snaps up my arms, but he's already steadying me. We put 6 in the center. My ears ring, but I feel absurdly proud. He smiles, small, almost shy, natural. Upstairs, he pours 2 fingers of whiskey, slides one across the island. For the recoil, he says, I sip, it burns sweet. He watches, eyes darker in the low light. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Tears, demands to go home. I lift a brow, would that work? No, he downs his whiskey, sets the glass down hard, but it would be honest. I lean closer, counter between us. Maybe I'm tired of being honest. Honest gets you evicted, honest gets you hit. The words hang raw. I expect him to pounce on the weakness, but instead his gaze softens, something like respect flickering there. Day 4, Rocco drives me through Brooklyn in a black SUV with tinted windows. We stop in front of my old apartment building. The facade is the same cracked brick, but the superintendent is outside landscaping. He nods at me, polite. Inside, the hallway smells of fresh paint instead of mildew. My unit is empty, swept clean. The eviction notice is gone. Rocco hands me a key, a new lease in my name, paid in full for a year. Utilities included. I stare, throat tight. He can't just. He already did, Rocco says gently. Debts cleared too, student loans, credit cards, all of it. He shows me a credit report on his phone, zeros across the board. My knees feel loose. I should feel grateful, instead I feel owned. He doesn't want gratitude, Rocco adds, reading my face. He wants you safe. Safe, the word tastes like metal. That night I find him on the terrace, city glittering below, collar open, wind off the East River ruffling his hair. I step beside him at the rail. Thank you, I say, voice barely above traffic. He doesn't look at me. You needed breathing room, I gave it. You had no right. I took it anyway. A pause, you want to leave. I think of the empty apartment, the zeros on the ledger, the gun in my hand earlier, the way my heart steadied instead of shattered. No. He exhales, shoulders loosening. We stand in silence, shoulders almost touching. After a minute he speaks, voice rough. My mother used to stand out here when she visited. Said the height made her feel closer to God. He nods toward a potted rosemary, woody and wild. She planted that, still grows. I wait, afraid to break the spell. He continues, softer. She died in a clinic upstate, cancer. Old man wouldn't pay for the good drugs, said weakness was weakness. His knuckles whiten on the rail. I was 17, couldn't do a damn thing. I reach, touch the back of his hand, tentative. He flinches but doesn't pull away, skin warm, veins like cables. You were a kid, I whisper. He turns, looks down at me, eyes shining with something fierce and fractured. I'm not a kid now. No, he isn't. He's a man who buys and sells cities, who fixes problems with bullets and ledgers, who just paid my debts because he could. And yet the pain in his voice is the same as mine, only bigger, darker. My thumb strokes his knuckle once. He shudders, exhales like he's been holding breath for years. For a moment the night feels gentle. Day 5, he teaches me to throw a punch. We're in a gym on the 3rd floor, heavy bags chained to beams, mirrors reflecting us again and again. He wraps my hands, slow, methodical fingers brushing my palms. Thumb outside the fist, he reminds, voice close. I jab the bag, he holds it steady, forearms absorbing the impact. Sweat beads on my spine, but I feel strong, alive. He nods approval. Again. Later, he shows me how to break a chokehold, hands at my throat, pressure light but possessive. I twist, drive elbow back, feel the solidity of him behind me. He grunts approval, hands sliding to my hips to steady. Touch lingers, fire through fabric. We don't speak of it, but the air thickens, charged. Day 6, I'm alone in the library when the power cuts. 1 second the lamps glow, next second black. Emergency lights kick, dim red strips along the floor. Rocco's voice crackles through an intercom I hadn't noticed. Miss Rossi, stay inside, lock the door. I hear shouts, heavy footsteps, the metallic rack of slides. My pulse spikes, I close the door, press my back to it, heart in my throat. Minutes stretch like taffy. A crash somewhere distant, glass breaking, then silence oppressive. I count heartbeats, 20, 30 until the door bursts open. He fills the frame, shirt torn at the shoulder, a streak of blood across his cheek, eyes wild. Downstairs, now. He grabs my wrist, pulls me into the hall. I stumble after him. We descend a stairwell I've never seen, bare concrete, industrial. Another guard lies crumpled on a landing, eyes glassy. I swallow bile. Vinny pauses, checks the man's neck, jaw tight. Fuck. We keep moving, burst into the garage. He shoves me into the Maserati, runs around, guns the engine. Tires squeal, we rocket into the night. He drives like he's fleeing hell, weaving through traffic, horn blaring. I grip the seat belt, knuckles white. Who? I manage. Cavallero crew, they want territory. His voice is gravel. They followed you home. I feel sick. Because of me. Because of me, he corrects. You're just the easiest target. He jerks the wheel, takes a corner at 60. I brace, but the car sticks. He glances at me, eyes hard. I won't let them have you. We roar across the bridge, city lights smearing. The tires howl again as he downshifts, engine snarling like something caged too long. Manhattan shrinks in the mirrors, its glow a bruised halo behind us. I watch the speedometer needle flirt with 90 and feel the city peel away, strip by strip, until only Black River and the stink of rubber are left. He doesn't speak. Neither do I. The silence is safer than words. Words would make this real, make me the tether that dragged death to his door. We shoot off the bridge onto the BQE, swerve through a knot of late-night traffic, horns screaming. My pulse keeps pace with the engine, but my mind is weirdly calm, like I'm already outside the moment, sketching it in charcoal, 2 silhouettes, chrome flash, red streak of taillights. He cuts south at the last second, tires skidding across 2 lanes, and dives into the battery tunnel. The yellow lights strobe over his face, jaw clenched, blood dried in a rust-brown line from temple to cheekbone. He looks carved from something harder than flesh. Where are we going? My voice sounds borrowed. Safe house. 1 syllable spare like bullets. Staten Island. No one knows it. I want to ask how sure he is of that, but the question dies when he glances over. His eyes say he's already considered every betrayal, every angle. If this place isn't safe, nowhere is. We burst out of the tunnel into the industrial wilds of Staten Island, warehouses and empty lots, the city's forgotten backyard. He kills the headlights, lets the car roll dark along a service road that snakes toward the water. Moonlight licks the rusted corrugated sides of buildings. Everything feels abandoned, picked clean. He stops behind a squat cinderblock structure, windowless, graffiti-scarred. 1 guard waits under a sodium lamp, AR slung loose. He nods at Vinny, ignores me. Chainlink gate groans open. We nose inside a garage that smells of oil and ocean rot. Engine off. Sudden quiet so complete I hear my own blood. He sits for a second, hands still flexed around the wheel, then exhales through his teeth and climbs out. I follow, legs jelly. Inside, the safe house is all exposed studs and concrete, a single room with a cot, a card table, a fridge humming like it's dying. A kerosene lantern flickers on the table, someone planned for outages. He lights a second lantern, sets it on a shelf. Shadows jump, retreat. First aid kits in the bathroom. He jerks his chin toward a plywood door. Clean me up. It's not a request. I find the kit, bring it back. He's stripped off the torn shirt, stands in slacks and bare feet, torso a map of old violence, scars, burns, a puckered bullet kiss near his collarbone. Fresh graze on his upper arm oozes crimson. I dab it with alcohol. He doesn't flinch. You're shaking, he murmurs, not used to playing doctor on a moving target. A huff that might be laughter. Keep the pressure steady. I tape gauze in place, fingers brushing his skin. Heat climbs my neck. I pretend it's the lantern. When I finish, he catches my wrist, thumb over my pulse. Sit. He nods at the cot. I do. He drags the folding chair opposite, leans forward, elbows on knees. Tell me what you saw tonight. Power went out. Rocco told me to hide. Then you showed up looking like an axe murderer. End of story. Before that, in the alley the night we met, you said you saw nothing worth repeating. Was that true? My stomach knots. I told you. Tell me again, voice soft, lethal, because Cavallero's crew doesn't grab random art students unless they think those students saw faces, numbers, something useful. I swallow. The alley replays in my head, rain needling down, 2 men arguing over a duffel, the snap of a pistol slide, the splash of something heavier than water. I hadn't wanted the memory, so I folded it small, tucked it behind childhood screams and eviction notices. I exhale. A man in a navy trench hand over a nylon bag. Another guy took it, counted cash, then a shot. The first man dropped. You stepped out of the shadows, told the shooter to clean it up. That's it. His gaze drills into me. You hear names. No. See the merchandise. Just the bag. You put it in my hand when I fainted. My voice cracks on the memory of waking in his arms, the world tilting. He rubs a palm over his jaw. Cavallero thinks you can id the courier. If you talk, the feds roll up the route, choke his supply. He wants you silenced or traded. Fear slithers up my spine. So what happens now? I keep you alive, he says it like a verdict. And I burn his crew to the ground. The lantern hisses between us. I realize I believe him every syllable. Believing should terrify me, but instead it feels like stepping onto a ledge with no railing, dizzy, inevitable. He stands, paces to the fridge, pulls 2 bottled waters, tosses one. I catch it, fingers damp with condensation. Sleep, he says. Tomorrow we settle accounts. Accounts, I taste the word, like I'm another ledger. He stops, looks back. No, ledgers balance, you don't. I don't know what that means, but the way he says it, rough, almost helpless, makes my chest tighten. He kills the lantern, leaves only the one by the cot. Shadows swallow him as he stretches on the floor, back to me, skin gleaming bronze in the low light. I lie down, stare at the ceiling. Water glugs in the pipes, wind scrapes the siding. Every creak sounds like footsteps. After an hour I whisper, you asleep? No. Why did you really pay my debts? Silence stretches so long I think he won't answer. Then, because I could, because nobody should start life chained to numbers they didn't choose. His voice is low, raw, same reason I do a lot of things people call sins. I roll to my side, watch the rise of his shoulder. You think you're saving me. Thinking's got nothing to do with it. Morning leaks through a cracked skylight, gray and grainy. I wake to the smell of coffee. He's lit a portable burner, percolator rattling. He's dressed in black jeans, fresh shirt, hair slick from a sink bath. He hands me a tin mug. We move at noon. Where? To end this, no elaboration. We kill time cleaning weapons on the card table. He breaks down a matte black Glock, names each part like scripture. I expect awkwardness, but the ritual steadies us both. Oil, snap, slide, click. When he finishes, he nods at the pistol I shot in the basement. Carry it. My stomach flips. I don't have a permit. Permits are for citizens. You're with me. At 11:30 his phone vibrates. He reads, thumbs back, then pockets it. Cavaliero's lieutenant's at the docks tonight. We grab him, trade intel for peace. He looks up. You stay in the car. And if peace doesn't take? Then we get louder. He says it without heat, just fact. We take a different SUV, windows bulletproof, plates swapped. He drives, I ride shotgun, pistol tucked in my waistband, hoodie loose over it. The dockyard sprawls off Staten Island's north shore, container stacks, cranes, gulls screaming overhead. Salt stink and diesel mingle. He parks between two towers of rusted shipping containers, kills the engine. 10 minutes. He climbs out, blends into shadow. I sit, heart hammering. Time crawls, I count containers, gulls, my own breaths. At 8 minutes I hear shouting, angry, then pleading. A gunshot cracks, echoing off metal, then silence. My hand finds the pistol grip, sweat slicks my palm. Another minute, another shot. I flinch, scan the gaps between containers, nothing. He emerges finally, dragging a man by the collar, face bloodied, hands zip-tied. He shoves the captive into the backseat, climbs in, starts the car. His knuckles are split, eyes blazing. Peace, I ask, negotiations ongoing. He guns it. We drive south to a shuttered box factory he uses for interrogations. Inside, the air tastes of sawdust and rat piss. He zip-ties the man to a metal chair, sets a recorder on a crate. I stand by the door, arms crossed, pretending I belong here. The lieutenant spits blood, glares. You're dead, Morty. Cavaliero's coming. Vinny smiles, cold. He'll need a reason. He nods at me. She's it. The man's gaze flicks over, recognition sparking. The art bitch. Vinny's fist snaps out, crack of cartilage. The chair tips. He rights it, blood dripping off the guy's chin. Let's try again, Vinny says, pleasant. Cavaliero's distribution ledger. Where? An hour later we have names, routes, offshore accounts. Vinny wipes his hands on a rag, nods at me. Write it down, draw it like one of your sketches. I hesitate, then pull a pencil from my pocket, flip a cardboard scrap, start mapping, docks, trucks, drop sites. My hand shakes, but the lines come clean, certain. When I finish, he studies it, grunts approval. Art student indeed. We leave the lieutenant alive, barely zip-tied inside with the recorder. Outside, dusk bleeds into the river. He calls Rocco, relays coordinates. Pick him up, ship him to Cavaliero with the tape. Message, back off or the feds get the originals. He hangs up, exhales, done. I feel the weight lift, then settle somewhere heavier, so I'm free. He looks at me across the roof of the SUV, wind whipping his coat. You were never free, not since the alley. Difference is now nobody else gets to touch you. The words should chill me, instead they land like a brand, sizzling ownership into skin. I open my mouth, close it. He circles, opens my door, waits. We drive back to the mansion in darkness. Lights blaze, he's left guards on high alert. Inside, he pours 2 whiskeys, hands me one. To endings, he says. I clink, sip. The burn feels like punctuation. He sets his glass down, steps closer. You should go upstairs, pack a bag. Tomorrow you can move back to your apartment. Guards will tail, but they'll keep distance. I stare, that's it, lesson over. His jaw tightens, you want more. I think of the gun in my waistband, the ledger on cardboard, the way my pulse steadied when he said mine. I want, the sentence fractures. He waits, eyes feral. I set my glass down, grip his shirt, pull. The kiss tastes of whiskey and iron, danger and deliverance. He stills a heartbeat, then answers, hands spearing into my hair, backing me against the wall. The pistol digs between us, he plucks it free, sets it on the table without breaking the kiss. When we part, both breathing hard, he rests his forehead to mine. This isn't gratitude, I whisper. No, he agrees, voice ragged, it's war. Good, I nip his lip. I'm not looking for peace. A sound tears from his chest, half laugh, half growl. He lifts me, carries me up the stairs. Behind us, candles gutter, but we don't look back. He doesn't bother with lights. The hallway swallows us in velvet dark, only the city's bruised glow leaking through a tall window at the end. My legs hook around his hips, heels digging into the small of his back, every step pressing us closer, denim rasping silk. I taste blood, his or mine, doesn't matter. What matters is the way his hands grip my thighs like he's keeping me from falling off the edge of the world. His bedroom door gives with a shove. Inside smells of cedar and gun oil, a low fire already banked in the grate, someone's idea of hospitality. He sets me on the edge of the massive bed, fingers sliding free of my hair, slow, reluctant. For a second we just breathe, trading air, trading power. Candlelight licks across the scar that cuts through his left eyebrow, silver against olive skin. I want to trace it with my tongue, learn every damage that made him. Last chance to walk, he says, voice scraped raw. Doors behind you. I answer by pulling my sweater over my head, dropping it, reaching for his belt. Metal clinks, leather sighs. The gun at his spine gets placed on the nightstand with ceremonial care, barrel angled away, safety on. Rule 1, never point what you're not willing to destroy. He toes off boots, socks, everything until he stands bare and unapologetic. Candlefire carves every line of him, broad chest, rope-scarred ribs, the winged Grim Reaper inked over his heart. Ink bleeds where the needle must have skated bone. I want to ask who held him down while it happened, but words feel useless. He kneels, yanks open my jeans, peels them off like unwrapping contraband. The pistol I carried digs into my hip, he fishes it out, sets it beside his. Two killers watching like chaperones, then his mouth is on the inside of my knee, stubble burning a trail upward. I arch, sheets fisting in my fingers. He pauses, breath hovering at the lace edge of my panties. Tell me no, he murmurs against skin. No, I whisper, keep going. A dark chuckle vibrates through flesh. He strips the last of the fabric, slides a finger inside me like he owns the deed. My gasp cracks the room. He groans, forehead dropping to my thigh. Christ, you're wetter than confession. Don't stop. He doesn't, tongue replaces finger, then both, a slow, devastating rhythm that makes me see white behind closed lids. I bite down on my own wrist to keep from screaming, guards outside, walls thick but not thick enough. When I come it's sharp, sudden, a gunshot in reverse, everything expanding instead of collapsing. He drinks the aftershock like communion wine, kisses back up my body until our mouths meet again, sharing the taste of us. I push at his shoulders, roll until I'm straddling him. Palm against his chest, I feel the jackhammer of his heart. My turn. He lifts an eyebrow, amused, but lies back, arms folded behind his head, king surrendering the throne for one night. I explore the scar along his ribcage from a Cuban machete, the puckered bullet hole below his collarbone, the ladder of abs that flex when my nails skim lower. His cock rests heavy against his stomach, veins pulsing under thin skin. I fist him once, twice, watch his jaw clench. Condom, he rasps. I nod toward the nightstand. He pulls a foil packet, tears with teeth, hands it to me. I roll latex down slowly, torturing us both. When I rise over him, sink inch by inch, his fingers spear into my hips hard enough to bruise. The burn is perfect, stretch, surrender, siege. When I start to move, he meets me, thrust up, grind down, a language neither of us was taught but both fluent in. Sweat beads, slap skin. The headboard knocks plaster like a warning. I lean forward, change the angle, his groan is feral. One hand slips between us, thumb circling where we're joined. The other clamps my ass, guiding, claiming. Pressure coils low, tighter, hotter. I feel him swell inside me, breath stuttering. Look at me, he orders, eyes lock. In them I see alleyways and altar boys, blood on marble, mothers weeping rosaries. I see my own reflection, paint-stained fingers wrapped around a monster's throat. The coil snaps, I come again, pulsing around him. He follows with a snarled curse, hips punching up, holding me impaled like he'll never let go. Maybe he won't, maybe I don't want him to. We stay fused, breathing hard until the fire settles to embers. He softens inside me. I ease off, discard the condom into a wastebasket already lined with tomorrow's secrets. He drags the duvet over us, pulls me against his chest, my back to his front. Arm bands across my ribs, palm cupping my breast, casual ownership, or maybe just making sure I'm still there. Sleep, he says into my hair. Tomorrow the world remembers us. I drift off to the sound of his heartbeat slowing, the city's distant sirens singing lullabies for sinners. Morning arrives like a slammed trunk, gray light, cold air, the smell of coffee already threading upstairs. I'm alone in the bed, sheets still warm where he was. On the pillow lies a matte black switchblade, closed, hilt toward me. Note under it, single line in slanted scrawl, carry it like you mean it. V. I tuck both blade and note into my robe pocket, pad barefoot to the window. Below, the driveway hosts a ballet of black SUVs and armed men moving with choreographed calm. Vinny stands in the center, coat flaring, phone to ear. Even from here I can read tension in the set of his shoulders, news traveling fast, probably Cavallero's reply to last night's delivery. A soft knock, then Rosa the housekeeper enters with a tray, espresso, crusty bread, a saucer of honey. She sets it on the dresser, eyes flicking to the rumpled bed, then to me. No judgment, just calculation. How much trouble am I bringing to her employer? She's loyal. Loyalty here is currency. Signorina needs anything, she asks. Clothes that aren't last night's. My voice rasps, reminder of how I earned the ache between my thighs. She nods, disappears, returns minutes later with a stack. New jeans, black turtleneck, underwear still tagged. Signor said your size, she hesitates. He also said tell you guards ride with you today, non-negotiable. I dress, sip espresso thick as melted obsidian. The mirror shows a stranger, hair wild, pupils blown, lips swollen. I look like someone who's been claimed by a war she didn't enlist in. I look alive. Downstairs, Vinny meets me in the foyer. He's shaved, suited, violence wrapped in charcoal wool. Eyes skim me head to toe, approval flickering. Pack your sketchbook, he says. We're taking a field trip. Where? Precinct, he watches my face. You're going to draw the courier from yesterday for a friend in Vice off the books, my insurance policy. I swallow, and then we pay Cavallero a visit, bring him your drawing, show him you're useless to the feds. After that you go back to classes, life, whatever the hell you want. He says it flat, but the muscle in his jaw jumps like the idea of me walking away tastes sour. I step closer, lower my voice, and if what I want is to stay. His gaze darkens, drops to my mouth. Then you better be sure, because I don't do half measures and I sure as shit don't do goodbyes. I lift the switchblade, flick it open, close, slip it into my boot. Guess I'm all in. A ghost of a smile. Let's ride. The precinct sits in a forgotten corner of Brooklyn, brick stained with decades of exhaust. Inside smells of bleach and burnt coffee. Detective Morale's stocky, sleeves rolled, eyes tired, meets us in an unused interrogation room. He and Vinny exchange nods, no handshake, history thick between them. A folder slaps the table, grainy stills from dock cameras, useless faces. She draws what I couldn't ID, Vinny says. You file it deep, no warrants, no grand juries, just leverage. Morales lifts an eyebrow at me. You okay with being leverage, sweetheart? I pull out charcoal, fix him with a stare. I'm okay with not being dead. He laughs once, surprised, then leaves us to it. I work from memory, the courier's narrow chin, the way his left eye drooped, scar through brow. Vinny watches, arms crossed, silent. Half an hour later I slide the sheet across. Morales returns, whistles low. I know this guy, petty hustler, calls himself Ghost. We'll scoop him on a parole violation, hold him as long as we can. Long enough, Vinny says, appreciate it. Outside, snow starts, fat lazy flakes drifting through diesel air. Vinny opens the SUV door for me, rare courtesy. Before I climb in, he cages me against the seat, mouth to my ear. You were brilliant in there. Just lines on paper. Lines that keep you breathing. He kisses my temple, helps me up. We drive north toward Hell's Kitchen, convoy of two. Snow thickens, muffling sirens. In the back seat I spot a long black case, rifle-shaped. My stomach tightens, expecting trouble. Expecting's a luxury, I'm preparing. We stop in a garage under a bodega owned by his people. Inside, fluorescent lights buzz over crates of tomatoes and ammo boxes stacked side by side. Vinny checks the rifle, custom AR, suppressor fat as a fist. He hands me a smaller Glock 43, ever fire one. Point and squeeze, right. Respect the recoil, don't anticipate. He loads a mag, racks, set safety. You stay behind me tonight. And tomorrow. Tomorrow you live to argue with me about paintbrushes and curfews. A smile tugs my mouth, romantic. He kisses me hard, fast, tasting of winter and gunpowder. Romance is what we kill for, remember that. Night falls early. Snow turns to sleet, ticking windshields like spent casings. We ride to a warehouse on the waterfront Cavallero uses for heroin cuts. Surveillance says he's inside, counting losses, planning retaliation. Vinny's crew ghosts through shadows, silence pops, bodies dragged. I stay close, heart hammering against Kevlar he made me wear. It chafes my collarbones, smells of someone else's sweat. Inside, fluorescent hum, men with rifles patrol catwalks. Vinny motions, 2 fingers, left corridor, we split. I follow Marco, a guard I've come to recognize by the limp he earned in Afghanistan. At the first corner, we bump into a lookout. Marco knifes him quiet, lowers the body. Blood steams on cold concrete. We regroup in a cavernous room stacked with plastic-wrapped bricks. Cavallero stands at a metal table, cash piles, 2 bodyguards. He's smaller than I imagined, hair slick, suit too shiny. Eyes flick to us, widen, guns rise. Vinny steps forward, rifle lowered but ready. Evening, Cav, let's talk. Morty, the name leaves Cavallero's mouth like spoiled meat. You come to my house, kill my soldiers. I came to deliver a message. Vinny nods, I step out, hold up the sketch. Your courier, Ghost, already in custody. My friend here drew him from memory. She can draw the rest of your crew just as easy, or she can forget if you forget her. Cavallero's eyes crawl over me, calculating. She's the witness. Vinny corrects, now she's under my protection. Touch her, you touch me, you don't want that war. Silence stretches, thick as the heroin dust in the air. Finally, Cavallero lifts a hand, signals his men to lower weapons. You walk out, we call it even. Ledger clean. Vinny smiles cold, thought you'd see reason. He backs us toward the door, rifle never wavering. We fade into the night, sleet slicing our faces like glass confetti. Back at the mansion, guards disperse weapons, clap backs, celebrate survival with quiet efficiency. Inside, Vinny pours 2 whiskeys, hands me one. To clean slates, he says, I clink, and dirty futures. We drink, he studies me over the rim. You handled yourself. I was scared out of my skin. Courage isn't absence of fear, it's keeping your hand steady while it eats you. He sets glass down, steps close. You could still leave, take a check, disappear to Paris, paint street corners. I look around, marble, velvet, ghosts in the corners, and miss midterms. He laughs, surprised again. I like surprising him. Stay then, but understand this life doesn't give refunds. I'm not asking for one. I pull him down, kiss him soft, tasting whiskey and storm. Against his mouth I whisper, teach me how to survive you. He groans, lifts me, carries me upstairs. Second night, same ledge, taller fall. This time we go slower, mapping scars, trading secrets without names. I learn the spot below his ribs that makes him hiss, the way he likes my teeth on his shoulder when he's close. After we lie tangled, fire dying. He traces idle circles on my back. When I was 12, my old man put a gun in my hand, told me pull the trigger or he'd pull mine. I chose, been choosing ever since. I kissed the corner of his mouth. When I was 8, my mom hawked her wedding ring to buy me crayons, said color was the only freedom we could afford. We drift, sharing darkness like currency. Outside, snow finally stops. Somewhere a shipment docks, a body drops, a ledger balances. Inside, we balance each other, 2 negatives glowing. Tomorrow I'll ask him to take me to the shooting range, teach me how to reload under pressure. Tomorrow he'll scowl, agree, pretend it's practicality, not hope. Tonight I sleep against the wolf, hearing his heart promise, as long as it beats, no one gets to hurt you but me, and I believe him every syllable. Morning peels through velvet drapes like a blade, thin, bright, merciless. I surface from the wolf's heat, sheets tangled at our waists, his arm iron across my ribs. For a heartbeat I pretend we're ordinary, 2 bodies, 1 night, no ghosts. Then the arm tightens, voice gravel. You snore like a kitten, Prince Ipessa. I elbow him. You grind your teeth like a man who's scared to dream. He growls, flips me under him, morning stubble scraping my collar. Dreams are for civilians. He kisses the hollow of my throat, lethal tenderness. I make plans, my pulse stutters. What plan today? First, breakfast. He smirks. Then we teach you not to flinch when the gun kicks. My stomach flips, hunger, fear, want, all the same flavor now. Downstairs, the kitchen smells of espresso, scorched earth, and citrus. Rosa, the housekeeper, moves like she's underwater, quiet, watchful. She slides a plate of cornetti across the marble, eyes flicking between us. Vinny murmurs in Italian, too fast for me. She nods, leaves. I tear into a pastry, powdered sugar snowing my sweatshirt. He watches, amused. You eat like you're still not sure the next meal's coming. It isn't. The answer surprises us both. His gaze softens, if softness can feel like a switchblade. It is now. I lick sugar off my thumb until it isn't. He leans back, folds arms. You keep testing how far you can push. So push back. I meant it as defiance. It leaves my mouth a plea. He hears both, studies me like a map of territory he hasn't decided to annex. Range first, he says, then we'll see who pushes harder. The basement of the mansion is a concrete throat, fluorescent, windowless, smelling of gun oil and old testosterone. Rows of rifles gleam under lights like museum pieces curated by death. Vinny lifts a Glock 19, hands it over. Heavier than yesterday, you'll feel it. I rack the slide, imitate his stance, feet shoulder-width, knees loose, shoulders forward. He adjusts my hips, fingers branding through denim. Don't anticipate recoil, let it hit you like truth. First shot cracks the room like a broken bell. The paper man at the far end keeps his head, mine rings. I adjust, squeeze again. A hole blooms in the cardboard throat, he whistles low. Natural. Natural's another word for desperate. I fire until the mag's empty, arms trembling. He steps behind, steadies my wrists, whispers at my ear. Again, breathe like you're begging for one more day. We spend an hour turning targets into confetti. By the end my shoulders burn, pride glowing hotter. Shower after is communal, no curtain, no apology. Water sluices cordite off our skin. He pins me to tile, mouth hungry, hands worshipping the small of my back where bruises flower. I taste metal, soap, future blood. When I come apart under the spray, he swallows every cry like payment. We dry off in silence, thick as gun smoke. I dress in jeans, one of his sweaters, cashmere that smells of cedar and crimes. He buttons a shirt, sleeves rolled, scars showing like topographical maps of wars I'll never fully read. Tonight we visit your professor, he says. Make sure campus gossip about your absence stays academic. My stomach knots. You going to intimidate a tenured painter? I'm going to remind him grades aren't the only thing that can be erased. I should protest, instead I feel relief, feral, shameful. He notices, smirks. See, already corrupting you. Maybe I'm the one corrupting you. He loops my belt, pulls me close. Pray you never succeed. Outside, Brooklyn is gray slush and sirens. We ride in a black Yukon, bulletproof glass reflecting my pale face. Two escorts tail in a sedan, Marco and a quiet Pole named Kowalski. Vinny taps the partition. Music. Driver cues Sinatra low. I watch streets scroll, bodegas, laundromats, a church with a virgin whose eyes have been painted over. City of masked saints. You nervous? He asks, terrified. Good, terror keeps your pupils sharp. We park behind the art building, loading bay reeking of turpentine and wet brick. He checks a tablet, campus cameras looped, security guard bribed. We walk like we belong, which tonight feels like a half-truth. Hallways echo with the smell of oil paint and student desperation. Professor Delgado's studio door is ajar, yellow light spilling. Vinny knocks once, pushes. Delgado turns, brush between teeth, beard stained ultramarine. His gaze lands on me, then on the man beside me, and fear flickers like a bad fluorescent. Ms. Rossi, I thought you were unwell. Recovering, I say. Vinny steps forward, smile cordial, eyes arctic. Professor, a word, we enter. Canvases lean like wounded soldiers. He gestures to a stool, I sit. Vinny remains standing, occupying space like a black hole. My girl's been absent, family emergency. Delgado nods too fast. Of course, I can arrange extra studio time. She'll pass without your charity. Vinny's voice drops, silk over razors, but gossip spreads. I'd hate to hear her name in any context other than excellence. Delgado swallows. I don't. Vinny sets a small velvet pouch on the table. Inside, a gold fountain pen, antique, flecked with something darker than ink. A gift, use it, grade her, forget she was gone. The professor doesn't touch it. And if I do talk, Vinny's smile widens all teeth, then I'll visit your daughter's dorm instead. Philosophy major, right, Baroque. Color drains from Delgado's face like turpentine down a drain. Understood. Vinny pats his shoulder. I knew you were an artist of discretion. Outside, cold air tastes like victory and copper. I should feel guilty, instead I feel wings. You didn't have to threaten his kid. I didn't, I mentioned her. Difference is academic. We drive back through streets glittering with frost. Sinatra croons about ants and rubber trees. I slip my hand into his. He stills, surprised, then curls fingers around mine, warm, calloused, possessive. Tomorrow, he says, we visit your mom. My heart stops. What? You said she hawked her ring. I'm buying it back. Vinny, no arguments. You want to survive me? Start by letting me owe you something beautiful. Tears prick, unexpected. I stare out window so he won't see. She won't understand. She doesn't have to. She just has to smile at you once without worrying. We ride the rest of way in silence, hands locked over console like a blood oath neither will name. Night folds over the mansion. Fire crackles in the study, casting demon shadows on leather spines. He pours Barolo, sets a chessboard between us, ivory versus onyx. Ever play? Only with destiny, he smirks. Tonight you play with me, lose and you strip, win and you choose. We move pieces like countries negotiating borders. I lose a knight, gain a rook, sacrifice pawns. Mid-game he traps my queen. I counter with a fork he didn't foresee. He laughs, delighted. You learn fast. Artists study patterns. So do killers. Endgame, I topple his king. He raises eyebrow. Name your prize. I lean forward. Tell me your real name. Shadows cross his face. After a beat, Vincenzo Alfonso Morti, born Palermo via de Candeli. Mother sang lullabies off-key. Father taught me to load a .38 before I could write my surname. I taste the syllables like communion. Vincenz, he shudders, eyes closing. No one's called me that in 15 years. I circle the table, straddle his lap. Vincenzo, I whisper again against his mouth. He growls, stands with me wrapped around him, carries me to rug before the fire. We undress each other slow, worshipping scars, his from bullets, mine from student loans and cheap shoes. When he enters me, I say his name like a rosary. He answers with mine like a confession. After we lie entwined, flames dying. Tomorrow, I murmur, I'll sketch you while you sleep. Tomorrow, he answers, I'll teach you how to field strip a Beretta blindfolded. I laugh into his chest. Somewhere outside, a shipment docks, a body drops, a ledger balances. Inside, we balance each other, two negatives, glowing. The fire settles into embers, hissing every so often like it resents being ignored. I trace a lazy circle over the birdshot scar on his shoulder, pale, pocked, perfect, and wonder how many other women have been invited to read his skin like Braille. The thought tastes bitter, I swallow it. He feels the shift, lifts his head from the rug. Talk, he orders, voice gravel rubbed in velvet. Do you always keep around in the chamber when you sleep? A smirk tugs. I don't plan on sleeping. His palm slides down the valley of my spine, cups the base. In the hearth, a log snaps, throwing sparks that die before they touch us. My phone buzzes from the heap of clothes near the sofa, an anemic vibration against hardwood. Once, twice, I ignore it. He doesn't. Could be your mother, he says. She texts, never calls. The buzzing stops, starts again. He rises, naked, unashamed, finds my jeans, fishes the phone. The screen paints his face in cold white. He scowls. It's a photo, he mutters, thumb swiping. No caller ID. He shows me a grainy shot of the mansion gates, timestamped 90 seconds ago. A second image follows, same frame, closer, headlights cutting fog. Text beneath, open UP, little ROSSI, we need to chat, my ribs cinch. They know my name. They know more than that. He tosses me the sweater, steps into slacks, commando, weaponless only until he opens a drawer under the chest table. Inside, a nickel-plated .357 lies in a velvet gutter like jewelry. He spins the cylinder, snaps it shut. Get upstairs, south corridor, third panel from fireplace, press the lion's eye, panic room. I'm not leaving you. Don't argue with me when the Reaper's already on the porch. He kisses me once, hard, possessive, then shoves me toward the staircase. I go heart-drumming triple time, bare feet cold on marble. Halfway up I glance back. He's shirtless, gun loose at his side, striding toward the foyer like he owns death and tonight it's collection day. The lion's eye is warm brass. I press, the oak panel size open onto a steel womb, monitors, canned water, rifles racked like polite choir boys. I step inside, door seals, silence drops. On the screens, front gate, driveway, foyer, kitchen, gallery. I watch Vinny move camera to camera, shoulders coiled, speaking into an earpiece. Marco and Kowalski converge from shadows, ARs ready. The house becomes a chessboard, every corridor covered. A black SUV idles at the gate, driver's window slides down, a gloved hand tosses something small onto the security keypad. A pause, then the gate yawns wide, my stomach plummets. Whoever they are, they crack the code. Inside the SUV, 4 silhouettes, maybe 5. Vinny's voice crackles through the intercom in the panic room. Stay put, Angiolto, no heroics. I hate being spoken to like porcelain, but the tremor in my arms agrees. On monitor 4, the SUV stops under portico lights, doors open. Out steps a woman, tall, trench coat, raven hair slicked into a knot. Even pixelated, she radiates runway venom. She raises both hands empty, walks ahead of her crew like she's offering throat. Vinny appears in frame, gun lowered but ready. Audio feeds in. Her voice is smoke over broken glass. Don Morty, pretty late for guests. Depends who's knocking. Name's Allegra Conti. My father did business with yours before the old man choked on his own tongue. She tilts head. Word is you're sheltering a witness to the Red Hook drop. We want her. Not an option. Allegra clicks tongue, then we have a scheduling conflict. She snaps fingers. One goon drags a duffel, unzips inside, bricks of cash and a single Polaroid. He holds the photo to camera, my mother walking out of her shift at the nursing home yesterday. Allegra smiles. Lovely woman, raised a polite daughter, I'm told. Ice floods my veins. On-screen Vinny's jaw tightens, the only warning before storms. You touch one silver hair on that woman's head, I'll feed you your own ovaries. Relax, Vincenzo, we're investors, not monsters. We'll trade. The girl for your word, the Conti roots through the Brooklyn pier, stay unmolested. Simple. Nothing in Brooklyn is simple. 48 hours, she says, stepping back into circle of light. Think it over, we'll be in touch. She turns, coat flaring, climbs into SUV. Tires squeal, taillights vanish down the drive. Gate remains open like a mouth mid-scream. I count to 5 before the panel pops. I shove out, sprint downstairs. Vinny meets me halfway, catches me by elbows. They have my mom. I know, his eyes are midnight oceans. We're moving her tonight. She'll never agree, she doesn't know any of this. Then we lie, he cups my face. You trust me. Yes, I breathe and realize it's true, terrifying, irrevocable. He nods once, all business. Pack a go bag, 2 changes, nothing that smells like you. We roll in 20. We move like synchronized explosions. In my suite I stuff jeans, thermal sketchbook. He appears with a burner, a .380 baby Glock. Keep this in your waistband, safety off when fear kicks. I swallow. I've never shot a person. Tonight's curriculum is fast. Downstairs, Rosa hands me a travel mug of espresso thick as mud. Stay alive, Bambina, she whispers, kisses both cheeks. Marco loads rifles into a second Yukon. Kowalski hacks traffic cams on a laptop, looping footage of empty streets. Vinny dons a charcoal coat, checks watch, 2:47 a.m. He gestures me into the lead truck. Engines rumble like distant war. Tires crunch gravel. Mansion lights dim behind us. Brooding parent watching delinquent children vanish into ink. City slides past in sodium blur. He drives, I ride shotgun, hands wrapped around imaginary steel. He speaks low. Your mom lives in Bensonhurst, third floor walk-up. We'll extract quiet, relocate her to a safe house in Red Hook, ironic but guarded. You have 15 minutes to convince. If she fights, we cuff. World's crueler than nursing shifts. She'll hate me. She'll breathe. We merge onto the BQE, sparse traffic. He taps Bluetooth. Status, Marco answers from tail car. Clean so far, boss. Vinny nods, but foot heavier on gas. Exit ramp, familiar streets, bakeries shuttered, neon saints glowing. He parks 2 blocks from her building, idling exhaust ghosts in cold. He grips my nape, forehead to mine. You're not a civilian tonight, you're mine, which means you're lethal, remember that. We move, 2 of his soldiers flank rear. I climb stoop, key I still possess sliding in. Stairs smell of bleach and fried onions. Mom's neighbor, Mrs. Dilaro, forever pickling something. 3rd floor, apartment C. I knock soft. Mom, it's me. Locks turn, door opens. She stands in quilted robe, hair silver cloud, eyes widening. Kara, it's 3 a.m. Pack now 1 bag. Are you drunk? Mom, please, my voice cracks. Vinny appears behind me, towering, polite nod. Mrs. Rossi, time to go. She clocks the gun under his open coat, gasps, looks at me. What have you done? Saved your life, maybe, I say. Trust me once. Fear overrides maternal wrath. She stuffs toiletries, photo of my dead dad purse. We descend. Outside, wind kicks trash. Halfway to vehicles, a van screeches around corner, headlights off, doors slide, gun barrels glint. Down, Vinny shoves us, shots rip brick, muzzle blooms light the color of future funerals. He returns fire, 2-handed, brass tinkling. Marco drags my mom behind parked car. Kowalski kneels, AR barking. I pull the baby Glock, hands shaking. Alley becomes thunderstorm. A shooter advances, masked. I sight center mass, squeeze, click, safety still on. I flick fire, bullet punches shoulder. He spins, drops, recoil snaps wrists, but terror numbs. I fire again, miss. Vinny moves like liquid violence, flanking left, pops 2 rounds, heads burst pink. The van revs, retreats, tires screaming. Silence falls acrid, my ears ring. Mom sobs into my coat. Vinny checks bodies, finds one breathing, kneels, presses gun under chin. Who sent you? Blood bubbles. Conti, deadline moved up. Girl first, leverage later. He pulls trigger, I jump, brain rattled. Vinny wipes splatter, strides to us. Clock's 0, they'll regroup, move. We bundle into Yukon, tires smoke. I hold Mom's hand, whisper apologies. She stares at me like I'm stranger wearing daughter's face. Vinny drives, jaw granite, city blurs, bridges rise, fall. Red Hook warehouse district looms, graffiti, chain link, moonlit water lapping pylons. He stops at sheet metal building, knocks pattern, door lifts. Inside, floodlights, cots, crates of ammo, espresso machine gleaming absurd. A woman in ponytail, BDUs, emerges, Gia, capo from Staten Island, eyes sharp as box cutters. Vinny, you're radioactive, huh? Shelter them, he orders. Rhoda of 6, anything heavier than a pigeon call. Gia nods, greets Mom with surprising gentleness. Mom clutches rosary, lips moving silent Hail Marys. I turn to Vinny, I'm staying with you. No, he cups cheek, thumb smearing gunpowder. You stay, I fight distracted, people die. I can't protect her from my shadow. You already did, he kisses me hard, quick, tastes of smoke and promise. I'll come back, that's my oath. He turns to go, I catch sleeve. Vincenzo, he pauses, make them pay. He grins, feral, with interest. Door rolls, engine roars, taillights vanish into pre-dawn. I stand in cavernous quiet, heart echoing gunshots. Gia offers coffee, I accept, hands trembling around porcelain like it's holy. Mom sits cot edge, eyes hollow. Art school, huh? She whispers. I laugh, cry, can't answer. Time drips. I sketch on butcher paper Vinny's profile, charcoal harsh, eyes pools of erased light. Gia watches, says nothing. Hours stretch, elastic. My phone vibrates, unknown. Text, package delivered. Countdown reset. You owe me a king's ransom. I show Gia. She whistles. He's poetic for a killer. Is he alive? If he weren't, city'd feel it. Sirens wail distant. I pace, imagine alleys, warehouses, rooftops, Vinny hunting shadows that threaten me. Each mental image is a bullet loading into future chambers. Dawn smears rose over harbor. Door lifts, Vinny returns, coat torn, knuckles split, eyes alive with dark fire. I run, collide into him. He winces, rib bruise, maybe worse, but holds tight. Allegra's down 2 soldiers, he murmurs against my hair. But she's not finished. I pull back, what now? Now we disappear together, Venice first, Sicily after, new names, old sins. He lifts my chin, say yes. I look at Mom, safe if bewildered, at the warehouse ceiling where pigeons flutter like loose thoughts, at the man who rewrote my fate in gun oil and blood. I think of campus, canvases, thesis shows, all pastel worlds that feel like postcards from someone else's vacation. Then I think of his mouth on mine, firelight, the way he said my name like surrender. Yes, I breathe, his smile is sunrise over graveyards. He kisses me, gentle as if the world isn't chasing. Gia claps once, barks orders, passports, cash, tickets on encrypted phone. We move like water through cracks, inevitable. In bathroom mirror, I barely recognize reflection, eyes older, mouth harder, yet something luminous. I tuck the baby Glock into purse zip and feel the click of destiny seating round in chamber. Outside, a car waits, engine purring. Vinny opens door, hand on small of my back. Ready, Angiolto. No, I say, slide inside, but I'm coming anyway. He laughs, shuts door, and Brooklyn recedes. Brownstones, sirens, alleys where I fainted into his arms, shrinking in rear view until they're merely prologue to the story we're about to write in foreign ink and gunpowder. The engine hums like a confession beneath our seats, tires kissing asphalt in a rhythm that says keep going, keep going, keep going. Vinny drives one-handed, left wrist draped over the wheel, right hand clamped around my thigh, territory he's already bled for. Outside the windows, Brooklyn dissolves into highway, sodium light strobing across his cheekbones, painting him criminal saint, sinner savior. I watch the speedometer climb 90 and feel nothing except the weight of the pistol in my purse, 4 pounds of absolution pressing against my ankle. Passports say we're married, he says without looking over. Try not to flinch when I call you Mrs. Morty. I've flinched at worst tonight. My voice sounds like someone else, husky, steady, a woman who's fired a gun and heard the wet thud of body meet brick. I flex my fingers, still smelling cordite. What happens in Venice? We vanish, then we come back with enough leverage to make Allegra Conti eat through a straw for the rest of her vendetta. His thumb strokes the inside of my knee, absent-minded benediction. You still carrying? I pull the baby Glock, hold it barrel down on my lap. He glances, nods approval. Safety. Love. Good girl. The compliment warms me indecently. I am 22, an art student who once worried about turmeric lattes and whether gesso ruins bristles. Now I check ammunition the way other girls check lipstick. The highway empties, then fills again, truckers, insomniacs, fugitives. We merge south toward Newark, where charter jets wait for cash and no questions. Vinny's contacts run like underground rivers. He speaks a sentence into a burner and hangar doors yawn open. We don't talk about the bodies we left cooling on Bergen Street. We don't talk about my mother's shattered eyes or the rosary wound so tight around her fingers the beads left dents. We talk logistics, route, aliases, boarding sequence. He hands me a slim folder. Inside, Italian ID hologram shining, a wedding band nestled in plastic sleeve, a Polaroid, me laughing in Washington Square Park, unaware of telephoto lens, my chest tightens. You planned this before tonight. I plan everything, Angiolto. Contingency is survival. Am I contingency or survival? He smiles, crooked, lethal, both. The airport appears, fences topped with concertina, cargo planes crouch like iron birds. Vinny swaps the Yukon for a black Mercedes idling curbside, driver already walking away, wiping prints. Transfer takes 20 seconds. He pops the trunk, lifts a duffel, bricks of cash vacuum sealed, 2 vests, burner tablets, a battered guidebook of Venice marked with red pen. He tosses me a hoodie, Sicilian phrase across the chest, kunai vidi kunai seri, who sees does not believe. I slip it on, smell of cedar and gun oil. Customs is a cargo hangar staffed by a man with epaulets and dead eyes. He scans forged passports, stamps without comment, gestures toward a Learjet painted matte gray, no flight number. Vinny palms him an envelope, the man tucks it, bored. We climb the stairs, engines already winding. Inside, 6 seats leather, cabin lights dimmed burgundy. A stewardess, blonde, early 30s, smile like a scalpel secures the door. Beverage service once we hit altitude, Mr. and Mrs. Morty. She doesn't blink at blood speckling Vinny's cuff. Estimated flight 6 hours 20. He buckles me in, brushes lips across my temple. Sleep if you can. Sleep feels like surrender. Then surrender to me. We lift off, city shrinking, veins of light spreading. I watch until the Atlantic swallows everything familiar. Seatbelt sign dings off. Vinny unstraps, moves to a cabinet, unlocks a panel. Inside, a bottle of Lafroig, 2 crystal tumblers, satellite phone. He pours, hands me one. Liquid armor. I sip peat and smoke curling down my throat, warming the hollow where fear nests. He studies me like a map he intends to memorize. You killed tonight, he says quietly. First time. Yes, my voice cracks on the S. I thought I'd feel different. You will, later, he swirls amber liquid. Regrets a patient sniper. I finish the scotch, set glass aside, stand. Cabin rocks gently. I move between his knees, fingers threading his hair, staring into eyes that have ordered deaths the way executives order lattes. I don't want to feel it alone. His hands settle on my hips, claiming, you won't. I kiss him slow, tasting iodine and smoke, the metallic echo of gunfire. He groans into my mouth, pulls me onto his lap, fabric bunches, seat leather creaks. Oxygen seems scarce. He breaks the kiss, forehead to mine. Not here, not like this. Then how? Safe, horizontal. I want time to watch you come apart without turbulence interrupting. I exhale shakily, desire and frustration braided. He fastens my seat belt again, palms grazing breast, proprietary. Soon, he promises. We refuel in the Azores, dawn bleeding across tarmac. I text Gia from a burner, wheels up. Mom, she replies, safe, praying, you keep him breathing. I show Vinny, he smirks. Oh, she likes me. She tolerates you. Same thing in our world. Second leg, cloud ocean, sun spiking gold. He naps finally, head against window, lashes fanned. I study the curve where jaw meets scar, old knife track pale. I want to sketch him, but pencils feel flimsy compared to the living texture of danger. Instead I memorize the twitch of dream, the way his fingers curl as if gripping phantom steel. I wonder if he dreams of alleys and betrayals, or if even sleep grants mercy. We descend over the Venetian lagoon, water like hammered pewter, islands scattered beads. Plain banks, Marco Polo Airport, a thin scratch on the mainland. Touchdown smooth, we taxi toward a hangar where a man in navy suit waits beside a mahogany Riva speedboat, Italian flag fluttering. Engines cut, heat rolls in as door opens, humid, briny. Benvenuti of Venezia, the man greets, kissing both my cheeks like family. He and Vinny clasp forearms, exchange rapid Sicilian, something about tide tables and safe moorings. Luggage is a single leather valise, duffel of cash stays hidden under floor panel, keycard given. We step onto the boat, engine purring, canal opening like arms. Venice slides past, ochre facades flaking, laundry strung between palazzos, water slapping stone. Vinny sits aft, sunglasses on, arms stretched behind me, fingers toying with my ponytail. We enter the Grand Canal, vaporettos churning wakes. Tourists wave, I feel like an imposter bride in someone's honeymoon. We turn into a side canal, narrower, darker, echoing. Mooring posts appear, a green shuttered door waits, number 4947, brass tarnished. He helps me onto worn steps slick with algae. Door unlocks to a marble foyer, cool smelling of centuries and salt. Interior courtyard, wellhead crumbling, we climb curling stairs, heels clacking. Apartment occupies entire piano noble, frescoed ceilings, terrazzo floors, Murano chandelier cracked but magnificent. Windows open onto canal, gondoliers, songs drifting. Home for now, he says, dropping keys into Murano bowl. Bedrooms through there, no phones, no Wi-Fi until nightfall. Rule 1, never the same route twice. Rule 2, you leave these rooms only with me or Luca, he'll shadow when I'm busy. Busy doing what? Unfinished business. He unbuttons shirt, revealing Kevlar vest underneath, bruises blooming. I need to wash blood that isn't mine. I follow him into bathroom, mosaic tiles, copper tub, lion paws. He twists faucets, steam rises. He peels vest, shirt, everything and stands naked, statue of David if David had more scars and a beretta tucked under towel. I strip too, modesty obsolete. We step into water, hot, enveloping. He pulls me between his thighs, washcloth gliding over my shoulders, tracing where fear etched knots. You're shaking, he murmurs, adrenalitis. I attempt a joke, it wobbles. He tips my chin. Cry if you need, I won't think less. I don't cry, instead I kiss him, water sloshing, mouths desperate. Hands slide, soap slick. He cups breast, thumb teasing nipple, I arch gasp, fingers trail lower, parting, finding me ready. He circles slowly, watching my face like a man studying detonation sequences. Pleasure coils tight tighter. When I come it silent, teeth sunk into his collarbone, legs locked around his waist. Aftershocks ripple, he holds, murmuring Sicilian endearments, cor mio, vita mia, until breathing steadies. He washes blood from under nails, gentle, methodical. I return favor, tracing scars, asking no origin stories. We emerge, wrap in linen. He combs my hair with fingers, kisses crown. Rest, I'll make calls. I drift on four-poster bed, curtains drawn, city muted. Dreams rise, alleyways, gun barrels, my mother's rosary beads clicking like empty shells. I wake gasping, dusk bleeding through shutters. He's beside me, seated, gun on thigh, watching. Bad dreams. Prophetic ones. He lifts my hand, kisses knuckles. We'll rewrite the ending. Night plan, dinner at a palazzo-turned-restaurant owned by cousin loyal to Cosa Nostra but not to Conti. We'll sit visible, bait, let word carry back that Morty walks free with his bride. Psychological warfare, he calls it, show strength, invite chaos, crush it before dessert. I dress in black slip dress he provides, back open, neckline daring. Heels high enough to run if needed. He wears navy suit, no tie, collar open, holster visible when he moves, intentional. We speed along canals, boatmen steering with single oar. City glows, carnival masks in shop windows grinning. Inside, chandeliers, candlelight, tuxedoed musicians playing Morricone. Heads turn, whispers ripple. We sit center, king and queen of underworld chessboard. Waiters pour Barolo. He raises glass, to surviving the fall. To falling further, I counter, we clink. Antipasti arrives, langoustines, saffron foam. Conversation light, favorite bridges, worst tourists, whether Tintoretto was a thug with a brush. Between courses he receives texts, jaw tightens, I don't ask. Instead I slip foot from shoe, trail toes up his leg under trouser cuff. His eyes darken, warning and approval. After espresso, a man approaches, slick hair, Napoli tan, smile like scalpel. Vincenzo back from the dead. Still above ground, Tonino. Tonino bows to me, bella sposa, congratulazioni. He switches to rapid Italian, tone pleasant, content lethal. I catch fragments, Conti offers truce if vi.